All right. Good evening, everyone. It is the first Thursday in March. So it's March 6th, 2025. And on that first Thursday at 7 p.m., we welcome you to Sisters for Harmony Vodcast. We are super excited today. We have some introductions to make, we have some special guests. And for those who are joining us for the first time, welcome. For those who are returning, thank you for coming back. It's great to have you back. Um, and for those who this is your first time, one of the things I ask you to do is please hit that subscribe button at Ask Dr. Walls 525. It does not cost you anything to subscribe, just a moment to click that button. And number two, make sure you get something to take some notes, pen, paper, open tab, something, because you're going to hear something this evening that hopefully is going to be inspiring or motivating to you and or to someone that you know, and we want to make sure you capture it. All right. So as always, before we start anything, I always pass the mic to Brother Emoja to open us up properly, and then we will get into introductions and the show. So go ahead, Brother Emoja.
Well, thank you, Dr. Walls. First, so we greet you in the name of God and our ancestors in whose footsteps we most humbly walk, understanding what we are. We are messengers with a word for the people to enlighten, empower, and direct our people globally, wherever you may be. So, amen, amen, amen.
Amen. All right. So on tonight's show, first we're going to introduce our guest co-host, and you'll be seeing more of her as we move forward. Our Vice President Ruby Burke, she had to work this evening, but we acknowledge her. And we know our treasurer for Sisters for Harmony. And for those who don't know, it is a registered 501c3 nonprofit, which is about empowering women and helping them to live their life on purpose and with purpose. And with that, I have this very purposeful woman who has joined Sisters for Harmony as our outreach director. And she is CEO of Learn, Empower, Grow, and does so much work with the community and early childhood centers, Mrs. Dion Wright Chambers. So welcome, Dion. Let me get
Thank
my
you.
tambourine
Thank
and
you.
welcome you.
Yeah.
So excited to be here.
Yes. And on top of that, she has a feature role in Kadaga. So you will be seeing her in season 4. So be on the lookout.
Oh, nice. Congratulations.
Mm. All right. And with that, we have this person. Where shall I start? I'm going to start with Edmund. You start to introduce him first because you know I'm going to go off the rails when it comes to him.
Well, family, you all know how much I love my homeland.
Mhm.
I'm from St.Lucian in the Caribbean. And so it was really nice. I met Brother Demedrius doing our film festival. He gave us some films to for the film festival, and that's how we met. And we just
What was
built
that, 2014, 2000?
the first year,
Yeah,
2014.
yeah.
And he,
Around there, I
he
think.
and he boldly told me, "I'm not going nowhere. I'm staying right here with you guys." He's been with us ever since. And it's been a blessing because when you meet someone who has passion for what they do and they do it in such a unique way and style and flair about it, it's good to meet people like that. Makes you feel good about what you're doing. And Demetrius has been with us ever since, and he has opened opportunities not just for us but for other people because he have introduced me to other people,
Mhm.
and we have looked and the idea I had with Piff when we first started was eventually to shoot a short film doing Piff so people can see what goes into making a film.
Mhm.
And Demetrius came in and he put together a really good script called The Bench. First it was called The Red Bench and then went to The Bench, and we shot that doing Piff because Piff is not about this film, it's about the economics behind filmmaking. So Demetrius helped me bring that to reality. We showed the people what it takes to make a film, what goes on behind the scenes. And so Demetrius has been with me, helping me manifest the reality, the dreams of PIF on many different levels. So it's really good to have him here with us tonight, and he's going to be with us on the 15th. So go ahead, Doctor. So that's what I got to say, Dr. Watts.
Well, welcome everyone who is joining us. Just Counselor Jess, D-Law, Dr. Stephanie Blake, and so many others. Please be sure to put in there where you're joining us from. Sisters for Harmony, we really move globally. And so Brother Demedrius Charles is an international award-winning Femme Force filmmaker.
Yes, thank you.
And I know people always say it's Women's History Month, which is why I'm donning my purple. I love purple anyway, but it is definitely the color for Women's History Month. And International Women's History Day is on Saturday. And we're going to talk about some of the women that have inspired us in what we do, but also that it's important that we have some males who are about that woman life, who are supporting us, uplifting us, and making sure that we are represented and empowered. And Demedrius, you as a filmmaker and a Femme Force filmmaker, how did this come to pass for you? So just give us an introduction of who you are, how you got into filmmaking, and why is the Femme Force piece so important for you?
Okay, thank you, Kathleen. Thank you guys for having me. I've always loved writing, and I've always somehow focused on what writing for women. So when I moved to the States to pursue a career in film, I never drifted from that focus, which is what works best for women, or how to empower them, how to let people see the different challenges that they might be dealing with, and also the beauty that comes with who and what a woman is. When I look at, when I look at women and men, I always see women as a partner, because everyone has their role in life, but I've never been able to understand why people think of women in a subservient level, when it is clear that two halves makes the whole, and these two individuals are partnered together to make, of course, offsprings, whatever, stuff like that. When we did Femme Force is a series of short films that are centered around strong female characters, because I love a woman that knows who she is, who's assertive about, who stands up for herself. So you will, as much as I like to show vulnerability, I always like showing their growth and how they overcome situations. I never like showing women as victims. I like writing a powerful woman, if that makes any sense. Yeah.
Definitely. Deanne, I see you shaking your head. What's going through your mind?
Well, I'm just thinking about the imbalance of men and women and how it's just in our, unfortunately, patriarchal society that there's always this negative viewpoint on women. Like that, it's just been embedded in how Western society, majority, not saying it's not in other societies, are, their viewpoint of women are. So I'm just like shaking my head like, woof,
yeah. And I think also, Brother Moja, we talk about this, and I even asked you, why did you even start the organization Sisters in Harmony back in 2009. So for those who don't know, Sisters in Harmony started in 2009, and it was originally registered in the state of New Jersey. When we moved everything to Pennsylvania, we had to change the name, and we chose Sisters for Harmony to keep it close, but we just couldn't use the name anymore. But we have been servicing and empowering, uniting, networking, educating women since 2009. And Brother Moses, do you remember some of the reasons why you told me? If not, I'm going to be more than happy to redirect you. But yeah. Why did you feel it was important to create an all women's organization?
Well, first, I did it, as I said to you before, I did it in honor of my mother. Being my dad was an abusive alcoholic, so my mom, she had to be a mother and a father. And to my knowledge, I don't think any woman is rare to be a father. And she did a really good job. We all my siblings and I, we all went to college, got our degrees and stuff like that. So it is challenging. But I never remember anyone giving my mother any awards for being a phenomenal woman. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to do this, and I'm going to keep it only for women in memory of my mom. And so we have the men coming in to support the women. And so Sisters in Harmony was birthed from my desire to do something. I know my mom wasn't the only one. I know there's a lot of other women out there who are phenomenal mothers and fathers, unfortunately. So I always want to honor that spirit that's in our community, which I didn't think was getting honored enough. And I know my mom wasn't. So I was like, let's do something. And then, that's where Sisters in Harmony started from.
And the other piece is, and you talked about the importance of having a safe space and a space dedicated for women to talk without being over talked by men, without, now we call it mansplaining, without having to worry about being hit on or sexualized and so forth. Why was all of that important for you?
Well, like I said, to me, from my perspective, what I saw was that a lot of times, every time in history, we look at these phenomenal, these powerful men doing stuff, and there's always a woman around them. And there's always a woman whispering in the air, and there's always a woman doing something for them, and the spotlight is always on the man, and usually it's the woman holding the spotlight on the man. So in Sisters in Harmony, the men took the spotlight out the women's hands and focused the spotlight back on the women. And so that was my thing about it, and to give them a space where they could talk, where they could support each other. And I had, it was 4 of us who started it, and Ruby Burke was my vice president. And I always used to say to her, the women are not going to talk to me the way they talk to you, but you could come and tell me what we need to do to make this happen. And so at this point we are right now is just I think spiritually was the right thing for me just to step back from being the president and let a woman step forward and be the president, because I think spiritually I did what God wanted me to do. I started it. I established a point where people came and said, why are you women doing this? And it's not the women, it was me. So people say, why you women have an all women's organization? We heard it a lot. And I said, they didn't do that. I did it. So they were like, oh, so it started, it set the tone. I made sure I set the tone. This wasn't women bashing men. It wasn't women trying to keep men out. It was a man giving a woman a space, giving women a space where they could talk, and we men supported that idea and that the feeling, let them know they were comfortable. It was okay. It was okay to do this. And that was really the groundwork for me, and I was very passionate. And some people say when I get laser focused and stuff, that's where I go.
That's a wrap. that's how he got me, y'all.
Yeah, she kept on dodging me. I was like, I'm a Lucian. You can't get away from a Lucian. and so for me, Sisters in Harmony and then Sisters for Harmony, when we changed the name, I just believe God gives us things, and we just have to realize everything happens for a reason. So we couldn't use in harmony, so we went to for harmony, and we picked the number 4 because 4 is for the 4 directions, north, south, east, and west. So the women are going to come from all 4 directions for this project, for this organization.
That's right.
And that's where we put the 4. That's when the now president asked me, I said, let's put a 4 in there. I want people to understand the 4 is for the directions we come from. and we unify. So you have the word sister in the front, and you have the word harmony at the back, and you have the four directions in the middle. Because I believe every time we speak words, we speak power to the words. So sisters for harmony, the women are looking at the four directions for harmony. Simple as that.
See, y'all, he deep.
Why did you like
You're
that?
funny.
Demetrius, I think we need to leave the room.
Look, y'all
Apparently, we might have to.
All right. So, Dan, I'm going to come to you first, and then Demetrius, I'm going to bounce back to you. After hearing him say that, Dan, what are some thoughts that went through your mind as you think about being a woman, as you think about being a woman of color, as you think about being a woman who's been in male spaces? What are some thoughts? What are some feelings?
My first feeling is thank you. This space is definitely needed. I just want to say, yes, I agree with you, Samantha. That was so deep. I feel like as women, we're always going to make sure we create that space, but we're doing it in silo. So by having a man, acknowledge that we need that space and support us, I feel like then we're not working in silo, right? I think then we're making it about us, because it's everybody's issue and problem. It's not just ours that we're marginalized and we're not viewed to be the best that we can, when we all know that we're such a big imprint of today's society, past, future, and moving forward. So yeah, I'm just like excited that it's a different spin. And almost for a minute you're like, oh, I could do this on my own, but that's the problem. We have to do it together. So I'm so excited about being a part of this beautiful project.
Yeah, thank you. Same thing. And Demetrius, I have so many questions for you, but I want to at first ask you, do you have any response to what Edmund said?
About women having a safe space?
Yeah, any of it.
I'm a firm believer of that. I was raised with 7 sisters, and my mother, she was emotionally strong. And like Ed said, we see the man in the front most of the times. But my father had my mother, and he had one hell of a wife, because she was able to keep things together. My father was a pastor. He was always out there doing stuff. But the reason why we have such respect for my mother, because we saw what she did. Even at times when, that was something I heard of at the time when he could not work. She was the one who picked up that mantle and did the work, so she could have a safe space, and so she could provide for her children and a husband who could not work at the time. So I have a lot of respect for women and the strides they have made, but I don't think what I don't like is seeing them still fighting for the rights to be seen as equals.
That's right.
When that should not even be a fight to begin with at all.
Yeah.
It is what it is. They are equals because it's a partnership.
Right.
That's how I look at it.
Yeah. And so with that being said, right, Sisters for Harmony is about empowerment. It is about educating. It is about uniting. It's about networking. It's about building the community. And this is important because sometimes we need that tap on that shoulder that says, you are worthy. You are deserving, right? You need that hug and that conversation and that direction to help you move into healing, to help you move through and past the trauma, to move into a space of health and well-being. And so we have found different ways to do that. Over the years, we have internationally, we've done it, locally, we've done it, and we're super excited because we're actually going to be doing it again next week when on the 15th of, let me pull it up here, on the 15th of March, we're having a program called Watch, Empower, Heal, and live. And it is from trauma to drama to healing, all inspired by our wonderful filmmaker, Demedrius Charles, who
Yeah.
loves to do some films about some good old drama.
Yeah, I love a good listen. I love a good old drama. Because or else I'll get bored. I like to keep it real. Yes.
And so from that, when we watch the films, a lot of your films stem from early trauma.
Yes.
And so let's start giving the people a little bit of highlight about some of these different films, and I'm going to pull them up so you can tell them about them, and then I'll share with you all more about the healing day that we are having. So let me see if this pulls it up for. Here we go. So let's start with let's start with this one. So tell us about Maneuver. What's the inspiration? What can people expect to see? Because at the event, so for those who are wondering, on March 15th from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., we are having an event where we will be screening Demetrius' short film. So some as short as 3 minutes, some go up to 24 minutes. We will have a panel of healers who will be talking about the drama and the trauma in it. And it's also open discussion for those who will be attending. But we also have healers in this space to provide healing strategies like sound bowls and journaling and art and dance movement and breath work and things like that, because we have to get past the drama. We have to get past the drama. We have to work through the trauma so that we can move into the healing. And we're going to springboard off of looking at your film. So now back to my original question. Excuse me. Samantha says facts. He loves the drama.
Thank you, Samantha.
Yes. So let's give the people what can they expect with Maneuver? Who are the artists that you shout out? Where did you get the idea from? And things like that.
Well, I have worked with Mitzi Pratt, who is Jamaican,
Mm-hmm.
and I wanted to do something. I wanted to write a piece that would feature her. So I thought about the male-female dynamics at work, where you have that intelligent woman who has to work twice as hard because she's a woman in a male-dominated environment.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to keep it um, sexy yet suspenseful
Mm-hmm.
and very dramatic. So I took the whole accounting situation
Yes.
with the an embezzler, and then I pieced it together, and then I created Maneuver. It's all
Mm.
about maneuvering the individual in front of you. That's
Aha. All
yeah.
right, that's enough. That's enough teaser. If they want to know more, they
That,
got to come to the event next week.
that's
That's enough. All right, let's take a look at this next one. We have The Bench.
oh, the bench. This is all about bullying. This is about intimidation. This is about sexual harassment at
Mm-hmm.
schools.
Mm-hmm.
And I did that with PIF. This is the film Ed was talking about. We had to shoot that in what, Ed? 4 days?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's 1 week, but out of those four, that 1 week we did this. We did the screen, we did the table read, the casting call, and we actually
Everything.
did shooting in 3 days.
Yes. And I am very proud of that, of this piece, because we worked with first timers.
Mm-hmm.
And two individuals in the poster, they are from Dominica, and the rest of the cast is from St. Lucia. I'm really proud of this film.
Mm-hmm.
Proud of
Mm-hmm.
this film.
Yeah, and this is one definitely, our wellness event, Learn, Empower, Grow, specializes in early child. Well, Dion, you tell them what Learning Power Grow specializes in.
You were doing a beautiful job.
I can do it, but I'm gonna let you speak to it.
We specialize in supporting the early child care workforce.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, you have to support parents and our stakeholders. And we all know we have drama and trauma. And the topic that you spoke about in your first film in this one, the bench, I'm sure there's many people in that window who has experienced that. So I'm sure they're definitely going to be excited to see what's going on, and also to have that safe space to discuss it, and having a nurse practitioners there to help them walk through would be important as well. So we believe in that whole child approach. You cannot support the young children if you are not supporting the parents and the community as well.
Yeah. And I wanted you to speak to that because, right, the bench is focused in a school setting. And we know that sexting and the harassment, the cyberbullying, all of that is real. And we know that it impacts the entire household, right? None of this stuff happens in isolation. And it impacts multiple households, the people who are involved, the friends, the staff, like it outpours. And so to be able to have a film such as this to bring this topic up and be the springboard for greater conversations and ways in which to treat this, heal this, acknowledge this, and so forth becomes very important. Brother Moji, you're going to say something?
Yeah, and one thing about the bench is Demedrius did a great job in that is that the complete film was shot in the Caribbean in St.Lucian. And so you told the two characters in the poster are from Dominica. So we had Miss Dr. Dublin in Dominica, who's a PIF rep over there, help us bring Dominica into the picture. So we're looking at a short film that shows us a serious issue with our young people. And we're using a global cast because we had Demedrius and myself from the U.S. We had them from Dominica, St. Lucia, and we had Barbados also involved in this. The film that we edited is based in Barbados. So we had several. Go ahead, Demedrius.
Yeah, and an extremely talented Claudia Edwards.
Yes. Yeah, Claudia Edwards. Claudia's been I think in all our stuff, and she's also in Kadaga.
Yeah.
And so we so what Demedrius did here was, I think, on the flip side, Dr. Walls, is to show when we put our hands together globally, we could do anything we really want to do. Yeah.
And I will say this also with us, Brother Moja and I, as filmmakers, as well as Demedrius, we are not afraid to use people who are new to the industry or interested in the industry and giving them an opportunity to grow. And this is empowerment, right? We know that artistic expression is healing in its various forms, whether it's drawing, painting, clothing, or film as such. So yes. All right, let's take a look at this next one. Now this one's heavy. I'm going to let people know that, and I will give you the warning again when we watch it that day. This one can be triggering. So go ahead, Demedrius.
Yeah, this one deals with, there's only one way to describe this. It's just mental health.
Yeah.
And for those of us who deal with depression or having a hard time letting go of certain things, this one sort of took me to a place where I started to get emotional writing it. I felt the very same way how I was able to write Ascension, I Am Not My Mother. It's the same feeling I got while I was writing this one. I am very proud of this as well. So I can't wait for the guys to see this.
Yeah.
And some really good acting.
Very good. Very good. I know Michelle was in it, right? Michelle Lee, and who else?
Megan Lee.
Megan, that's it.
Jessie Taya and Brittany Morgan. They're all three trained actors, and they did a really
Very
good job
good.
with this.
Yeah, they really did. You definitely fall into the characters and the storyline, and it takes you, it's about 24 minutes, but it's a powerful 24 minutes. So,
Yes.
again, for people who are coming that day, get ready, brace yourself. There may be some triggering. So, because this one does, it gets you definitely in the feels. All right. How about this one?
This one is just pure drama.
Pure
Uh,
drama.
yeah. It, you know, this is just the mother-daughter dynamic
Come on.
when that these two just don't agree, but they're so much alike, but they think
Mhm,
they're so different. This is
mhm.
what Pot Calling Kettle is all about, and it's unfortunate they're both related to me. Um, so I wonder where all of that drama comes from. So Keturah Keturah Charles, who leads the cast, is my sister, and the other young lady in the poster is Jamie Bastier, and she's my niece. Yeah, but the entire cast is made up of family members. I was just
Mhm.
testing out something, and it became one of the most successful pieces I have written.
And
Yes.
how many episodes do you currently have in Pot Calling Kettle?
Seasons, I have 3 seasons right now, and
Okay.
I will be writing a final chapter, which is the fourth. Yeah,
You see what
yeah,
Samantha wrote, right?
What's Samantha say? Oh, Samantha said you about to get beat up.
yes. I love this piece because it always gets everybody going when they watch it. Yeah,
hmm
it's
So
like, yeah.
so y'all get ready. So if you have not registered for the event on March 15th, I'm gonna drop the link in the chat. Be sure to do so. I'm telling you right now, the space is filling up. We have probably about 60 people already on board to be there. So we are encouraging people, make sure you come. Parking may be tight, so we encourage you to get there early and on time, and we are going to have a full, powerful day. All right, we got
Rose,
one more poster.
are you still looking for vendors?
We probably could take well, maybe about one or two vendors. We have a good number of vendors. I'm super excited. So for people who have joined Planters Knowledge, you may be familiar with D Law. She was in the chat a little earlier. Danielle Lawrence. She is an author with a book called Emotional Maturity, which you think some of your characters may need some help in that area.
I think so. Yes, all of them.
Exactly. So she has a wonderful book, and she'll be there. And I've already asked her to chime in from time to time. And then there is Dr. Avis McGee. She is also an author, and she has a healing book as well. She will be there selling her books. We have Michelle Bogan, who is a social worker and a healer, a clinician. She will be there and she'll be selling her book also. And then Dion, we have another author too, right?
We do. We have several authors, but we also have Kevin Hubbard. He's
Thank
a
you.
clinical psychologist. He'll be there as well. He'll have his singing bowls
Yes.
there, and he'll also be there for any type of emotional support if
Yeah.
anybody's having some type of trigger. And then we also have some vendors that are going to give some, we got to take care of ourselves. We need to
Yes.
smell goods and all the little, good things is that as well. So we got to get, I'm not going to tell them everything because they need
You
to
know,
come.
they gotta
Okay.
come.
They need
They
to
gotta
come.
come. Yeah,
I
Right. They
we got.
got to
agree.
come. But
Yeah,
we ready for them.
yeah. We got some surprises for you too, Demetrius. So we're gonna. Okay, so when they come
Oh,
showing up
nice.
in the space and place, all right.
All right.
It's,
Okay.
all right. Then we have the D Matzzis. Now, what's up with this?
Oh, talk about a wild woman. You've all met Justin.
Yes, we know.
Phenomenal actress. I mean, she. This was originally written with a male lead,
Mm-hmm.
but she did such a fantastic job playing his mother that
Mm-hmm.
we decided to rebrand
Mm.
as the D Matzzis
Yes.
and put her in the lead because she was just driving. the piece.
Mm-hmm.
And what a piece. I mean, they're only going to get the first episode, but as the show continues, they will be like, what the hell is wrong with this piece? So, yeah, so this is a good one. This is a good one.
And I'm glad that you said that. So that we're showing only we're showing the first episode of the D Matzzis. We're showing the first episode of Calling Kettle, but there are other episodes. And
Yes, there are.
where do people go? Because once they see it, it's like, oh, we're gonna have to see what happens next. Where do they go to see the additional episodes and seasons?
I mean, they could always log on to, they could go to demedriuscharles.com and
Okay.
follow the link that will take them to Demetrius Charles Productions.
Okay.
.vhx.tv. Lord, somebody help me shorten this
But-
because I find it's too long. They
Yes.
could click on that, and then they could watch all of the shows that I have written, directed, and produced. They can watch those shows there.
Hey,
Okay.
Dr. Walls,
Yes,
the
dear.
people is not telling you, Calling Kettle is actually on television in the Caribbean now, right? This is,
Oh yes, I totally forgot that. Yes, yes, it is. Yes, it is.
I'll
Things
follow
have
you, bro.
well, things have been moving, and I am so happy about that because I just recently got an email yesterday and asking for permission to get two of the shows maybe on Tubi, TLA, and
Congrats.
so I was very happy about that. The shows are making its way.
Yeah.
Some things take. That's why I'm never. Sometimes you get a little bit. I don't want to use the word frustrated.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to use a better word than that. You get I wish this would move along faster, but everything happens in its time.
Come on.
And because of resilience and not giving up, I've started to see things move forward. As much as sometimes you say, okay, I've had enough, this is heart-wrenching and stuff like that. You stick to it, you continue doing the work, you develop relationships, you have people around you that's going to pull you up when they see you not having the best of times. And that's what I've surrounded myself with Samantha, with Bobette, and Yasmin, my family. So I've started to see growth.
Yes.
And I cannot wait for this half of the year to be finished because there's just so much more stories I would like to tell. And one of them, I know it's going to hit you across the head, Kathleen. I'm not going to tell you anything about it right now.
Love it.
Yeah, nothing. But yeah.
Beautiful.
I cannot wait to do this piece because I know it's going to hit some people. Right, yeah.
Dion, he sounds like he's setting up for a comeback. We're gonna have a Demedrius Charles healing episode part 2.
Okay, let's do it.
It's gonna be I'm looking forward to doing this one.
Okay, all right. So we got some couple things here. Jaricia said good because we like drama and wild women. So, she said bring it. Just Counselor Jess said congratulations.
Thank you.
D Law, who will be there and meet you in person next week. She said patience is a virtue.
Yes,
so yes. Samantha is letting us know that Ascension, I'm Not My Mother, which is one of Demetrius' films and is actually one of the first films, if not the first film that we featured in 2014, right? 2014, 2015.
Yes, that's the first one we did with you. Yes.
Yes, that's the first one that we did. And we did a whole panel discussion about that in St. Lucia. It is now on Tubi. Way to go.
Yeah, and on Amazon Prime too. It's quite a few places, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Come on.
Yeah, it started moving, yeah.
And I gotta get me a musical. She got her tambourine. I gotta get some. Like, this is it. This is the last time y'all gonna see me without some musical instrument. I'm gonna be ready.
She gonna come with a French horn. She gonna come with a French horn. Look.
Yeah.
Hey, Dr. Walls.
Yes, hon.
I like to say congratulations to Demedrius because I remember brother really working hard and not giving up to get. And so now as we congratulate him for the 2 being the prime, for the people who are listening, but you know me, I always talk to young people. Demedrius is a very good example of not giving up. Things, if you truly believe in what you're doing and you see that you can do it, just keep taking one step at a time. Because the patience and your work ethics and this believing in yourself and this proving and this moving with that energy and that spirit, you will get there. And Demedrius is a perfect example of that because, as a two Lucian boys, who would ever believe, you have a Lucian boy has this stuff on Tubi and on Amazon and doing it from his perspective.
Yeah.
He didn't I could say he didn't sell out, he didn't change. He was who he is.
Yeah.
And look where it has taken him. And he could stand up and say, this is my story that I wrote it from my perspective.
Yeah.
When you could do that as a filmmaker, as anybody, when you could stand up and say you did it from your perspective, it makes you feel really good about where you are, who you are.
I feel like his story in itself is a testament to, giving someone, and hopefully people who come to our event, that motivation and inspiration that they need, no matter through it all, that you can, yes, I agree with you. D-Law is very inspiring. So I just can't wait to have that space so everyone can hear his story.
Yeah.
And definitely how he has so many sisters and how it was already embedded in him to treat women and respect women, and that he continued that legacy through his personal career. And, that's even a testament in itself there. So I'm excited, just to hear more about his story, and for everybody else to hear it.
Yeah, because I was blessed to be there when we were shooting the bench in St.Lucian and see him working with the young people, the young women, the young people who were there who had never been in front of the camera on that level. And he took the time to break things down for them, doing the table read, and I got the pictures and seeing how he was working with them and making them comfortable. See, that's a gift.
That is.
Because to walk on set and to have someone make you comfortable and you're not comfortable in yourself, but someone sees you and make you comfortable. And when they do that, it makes you believe in yourself. I saw that in the bench. A lot of young people on the bench, maybe all of them were the first time they were in a short film. And Demedrius took the time to work with them and mold them and give them what they wanted, inspire them to continue doing what they were doing.
And to remind you that this was done in 3 days.
Amazing.
Right? So
exhausting 3 days.
Yes.
Up and down.
Yes. But to both of your points, and I want to highlight, Samantha said, I won't allow him to give up. Right?
She's my boss.
But
Dr. Walls, that's what we were talking about before. When these women are doing that.
That's exactly what I was going to say. You go ahead and say it, Brother Moja.
When you have a woman who we are blessed in the community, the global community, to have awesome women who believe in the men in the community, and they put a spotlight on us, and they clean us up. They clean our glasses before we come on set.
Shave your head.
and to see all these beautiful women doing all these things, and it's a time when we have to stop as men and just say thank you, and just take the spotlight out of their hands and put it on them.
Yes,
and that's a beautiful thing, because then what we are doing, we're sending a message to the future, to young girls and young boys. This is what we expect of you. This is what you should do to the young princess who are becoming queens in our community, and how you should treat them, and so forth and so on. So I think when we take a time out like we're doing now to acknowledge this and say, listen, thank you very much, I think it sends a very strong message. And we don't know how it's going to come back, but it is going to come back on us. That someone's one day going to say, listen, I listened to you all, and this is what I got from it. So,
So many, definitely. Dr. Wade. Hey, Dr. Wade. Dr. Wade said, fruits of the spirit, patience, faithfulness, love, joy, peace, kindness. I believe that's Galatians 5. Definitely. Yeah, just says, yep, like Jalen Hurts. Yep, he definitely highlights the women in his life and recognizes the impact that they've had in his life, and he knows he would not be in the position that he's in if it were not for them, right? The collaborative piece.
Tell people who he is, Doctor. We have a global audience listening.
Oh, for those who don't know who Jalen Hurts is, he is the Eagles, the Philadelphia Eagles quarterback. Go Birds of the 2025 Super Bowl champions. So a wonderful, wonderful young man who just, like I said, he amplifies and uplifts the women around him. He has a woman manager. He has his fiance. He is very clear on the power and the purpose in their life, definitely. I want to go back and highlight what Teresia said, patience and endurance. And she said, yeah, congrats. Because Demetrius, that message that you gave about continuing, even when it doesn't seem like maybe it's not getting the traction that you want, or it's not hitting the masses and the numbers that you want, and maybe you're not feeling as successful as you want to. I highlight all of these words because as a clinician, there's many times when you're going through the healing process that you feel those same feelings, right?
Yeah.
Am I making any progress? I feel like I'm stuck. I feel like nothing's happening. But there is change happening. There is growth happening. There is healing happening. And sometimes the healing hurts, right, in the process, just like sometimes continuing on doing these artistic expressions. I know Brother Emoja and I, we have many artistic expressions through my Adventures of Froggy T and Bunny books, through our Kadaga series, all of the different things. And it's like, we do these podcasts and you see like 2 views and it's like, dang, like, are we doing it for 2 views? And then you ask yourself, are you doing it for views, or are you doing it because this is what your heart desires? This is what you feel divinely designed to do. And once you get clear on that, and even as a filmmaker, why are we doing this? What's the motivation behind it? You get that clarity, and then you have that continued endurance. You have that continued perseverance. Demetrius, I see you shaking your head. What's going through your mind?
No, I'm shaking my head because one of the things I have learned throughout the years is because I am doing film. I write is because I love it.
Mm-hmm.
And once I have an opportunity to write, it fills my soul up.
Mm-hmm.
I feel alive. So if one or two people get to see the show, I'm thankful.
Mm-hmm.
But I am first doing this for myself because I love creating. And every
Yes.
time I create, I'm fulfilled. If I
Mm-hmm.
get to share it with people who happen to enjoy it, that's even a more greater fulfillment.
Yes.
So I like to do things because I love doing it. And
Mm-hmm.
then I share it with the rest of the world.
Yeah. Let me
That's
ask you. Let me ask you this. Thank you for clarifying that. As you mentioned, having 7 sisters
mhm.
and a mother,
Yeah.
what do they say about your work?
Well, it depends on which one you're talking to.
Of course.
Um, well, uh, well, the one thing I've been blessed that my family really enjoys what
Mm-hmm.
I do when they do get a chance to see it.
Okay.
And it's funny for those who never had the chance. Like some of my other sisters, they would say yes, and they say, "You see, it's your own brother, and you have no idea." Because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it's your family that there's
Come
a way of
on.
saying it. They don't see what's right in front of them, and that's okay because I've learned that it's not because they do not love or cherish you. It's
Mm-hmm.
they're just so used to this person in front of them. So when they
Yes.
get to see the other side, it's like, oh, I never knew that about him.
Yes. Yes.
And I've heard it a lot
Yeah.
from members of my family. I may have 7 sisters. I had 7 sisters,
Yes.
but I also had 5 brothers.
Oh boy.
It was a big family.
Yeah.
And I think I may have almost 50 nieces plus going.
Oh my goodness.
Some of them I was raised with. So I have a lot of females
Mm-hmm.
around me
Yes.
that I want to protect, that
Mm-hmm.
I want to see their growth.
Yes.
People always ask me that question, why don't you like um stay at home women? I said, that's not what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
I love a woman who's independent because I always think of this. If something happens to your husband, are
Yes.
Mm.
you covered?
Yes.
Will you be okay? And
Yes.
so it's not about, I know the importance of a woman raising a family and
Mm-hmm.
her child. There is, it's obvious, but
Mm-hmm.
I also like to see a woman who is independent because I
Mm-hmm.
always think of something happening and
Mm-hmm.
she is left in a vulnerable place or in a situation where she cannot take care of herself and a family.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Go ahead, Dion. What you thinking?
No, I'm totally agreeing with that, and I think more as we talk in the space of young people and the work that we do, because Learning Power grows in collaboration with Hope Partnership for Education.
Mm-hmm.
So we're inside a middle school that serves predominantly Black and Brown children, and these are the things that they need to see. And I was saying that I was talking to the head of school, Tyler, today. He was like, "Hey, what can we do? You know, we need more programmings. We have to inspire these children through a lot of the trauma and drama that they're dealing with as well." So
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking on the back end, like this is the type of things that they need to be exposed to, and we need to
Mm-hmm.
have this type of conversations with them, because I
Mm-hmm.
think it's just we expect it to happen, but if we don't put action to works, then how can we get frustrated with these young people if they're not exposed to what they need to move forward?
That's
So
right.
I'm
That's
just
right.
like okay, I'm taking little notes and saying this is
Yeah.
maybe we can incorporate your films into something
Mm-hmm.
for the young people. That's what I'm thinking about. They
Mm-hmm.
Of
always love
course.
entertainment, but make it more purposeful and
That's
make them
right.
understand their way forward. Not saying everybody's going to be a glorious film producer like you, Demetrius, but
I
it
would
can
call
be
it
a
glorious.
vessel to help them learn the skills and what they need
Yeah.
to get through in life.
Yeah,
Of course,
you,
yes.
you said that, Dion, and something I know I truly believe in, and I see it all the time. Our young people are so creative. I saw that when I worked with Dr. Evans at the school SLA.
Mm-hmm.
If you give them the tools and you show them how
Mm-hmm.
to use the tools, they will give you something that make you say, "Wow." I
Mm-hmm.
gave them this. We were able to give them cameras and show them how to use the cameras and what the camera can do.
Mm-hmm.
And they did. They took it and they just ran with it. It made me shake my head and say, "Wow."
Mm-hmm.
And so, if we just take the time to give our children the tools and show them how to use those tools, maybe writing, because as I always tell people, the writers are the most important thing in the film industry, and that's a
Mm-hmm.
trillion-dollar industry. Without a writer, you have no story.
Mm-hmm.
No actors. So if you just show them how to use the tools that's in front of them, you're giving them a way to be independent and
Yeah.
how to use their
Need
power.
it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and right, how to express themselves in the various way, whether it's through the writing, through the acting, through the directing. All
Mm-hmm.
of these become very important ways. Dr. Wade, I want to highlight what she said. She said she really liked the spotlight illustration. She said it reminds her of the saying, behind every good man is a good woman. She is
Mm-hmm.
behind not because she is not worthy, rather because she chose to take a step back in order to allow the good man to shine brilliantly under that spotlight. Yeah. And so, as Brother Mojo, as you're talking about taking that spotlight, right, and sharing it back and forth. For anybody who follows me on social media, you may see a lot of reels and shorts about me sneaking pictures and video of my husband when he's not paying attention.
Knew she had to say something about that.
Right. And so if you haven't, just check out my shorts on my Ask
You don't
Dr.
have
Walls
to.
525 page. Be sure to like them, please. But so this started years ago because he is a photographer. He's always taking pictures of everyone else. And as a videographer, he's always filming everyone else. But who's filming him? Right. And this would happen in family photos. This would happen even in my house. My father was the designated photographer. So then, therefore, he's not in any of the pictures.
Wow.
So I then started taking pictures of him taking pictures. And then we get back home and he'd be looking, he'd be like, when did you take this? When did you take this? And so that's how it started. Oh, yeah, Samantha, you're going to have a good time watching all them videos. And then people started sending me messages and they're like, does he really not know? And I'm like, yeah, no, he has no clue. And I just find time to take it. And then even Dion joined me one time and we were just cutting up. But the other thing is he knows I have his back. Right. So he knows that he can zone in on what he's doing because I'm taking care of his six. Right. I'm taking care of the back. So he doesn't have to worry about it. But it is entertaining and fun.
And let me say something about that.
Yes,
I love the photos when he sleep.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dion. No, you know, and truthfully, the thing is, I don't know she's doing it for people who are asking that question because in a relationship and those who are in committed relationships, once you have your partner there with you, you know you're covered. And you know you could focus on what you need to do. So all the time she's there, I'm just like, is everything okay? Fine, I'm just doing my thing. And she pulls her camera and she does her thing, and later on she shows it to me. But it's that when you have someone you truly believe you love and you know they got your back, you're good. You're like, you can focus on what you're doing. And mostly as an artist, as a photographer or a filmmaker, when you're in behind that camera, you have to really focus on what's going on. And to have someone to your back that you trust and it makes you do your work better.
Definitely. All right. So before we get ready to close, final thoughts, anything, Dion, I'm gonna start with you. What is it that you would like people to know? Any just anything around Women's History Month, any takeaways from tonight?
Oh wow. I mean, there's so much in Women's History Month. I more so want to focus on the women in your life, in my life. You know,
Yeah.
I hope we pause and take a moment to thank them. I always want to thank my grandmother, Carrie Mae, right? She's not here no longer, but she was my grandmother, a pivotal role in raising me. I'm sure she didn't plan on it in her golden years, but she did it. So I just want to acknowledge her, and I hope everybody just pause and look at the women in your life. I'm thankful for the women in my life. I'm thankful for you, Dr. Walls. I'm thankful for the awesome team that we have at Learn the Power Grow. We have some awesome bad women.
Shout them out, Regina Robinson.
Yes,
Come on, shout them out.
Take them all out. And I also want to thank out the parents who step up to recognize that, you know, their children need more. And the same thing with their early childhood education teachers, because majority of them are women and are women of color, and they're working in a very marginalized field where they're not paid their due, but they're doing amazing, important work. They really are the frontline workers and not given that recognition. So I just want to take a pause and thank all the women in my life, my Learn the Power Grow team, my personal, team as well. And I hope we do this, as I say, as Black History is in February, we Black all year long and women. So I hope this is a 365. We're not just pausing for the month of March and saying women. This is something that we're doing. And I think our brother Demedrius is doing that in his films.
Yes.
By making sure that women are put forth. we
Yeah.
know this embedded in him because who his family is from what we were
Mm-hmm.
telling, and the wonderful
Mm-hmm.
work that you and my brother G is doing. So that's my final words.
Yeah, and I encourage people. Thank you, Samantha. I see you put it in there. It's like you read my mind. She said, "My grandma's still here working on scene 95." Yes,
Mm.
I
Yeah.
say take a moment and put the women who you celebrate, who have been inspiring to you, put their name in the chat. Let's put some energy in that direction. We spend so much time putting energy in other directions, right? Things that frustrate us and annoy us, bother us, make us sad, or we spend time and energy in things that are just mindless, like scrolling. Let's take a moment. I like that, Dion, and let's be very intentional, and say some names. Put some names in there. People who are currently with us, people who have made their transition. You know
I
what?
got libations over
Come
here.
on, yeah. Well, come on. We can do the libation. Exactly. Put it in. There we go. I love it. As I stopped and I thought about the women who've made an impact in my life, from my grandmother, my mom's mom, that was my girl, that was my roadie. We were always, together. I would have fits when it was time for us to separate. I would wake up, I'd be like, "Where you going?" Right. And it was like that was my girl, Dr. Cheryl Rothery. She was the first female Black psychologist that I had ever met. I
Mm.
didn't know if one existed, and I was good and grown when I met her. I didn't know if
Mm.
one existed. I didn't know if I would be the first one. Like it was like, and I prayed, and God delivered her directly to me, and I have kept her in my life ever since. And so many women. And then also, a shout out to the men. My mother was very specific about the type of man she wanted to have children with, and she knew she needed to have a partner who supported and empowered women.
Mm.
And so there was people who she dated beforehand, and she said, "I knew that we couldn't get married because they didn't want her to be educated. They didn't
Mm.
want her to go to college. They wanted her to
Mm.
be a stay-at-home person." And she was like, it had nothing to do with love. It had to do with their philosophical beliefs. And she said, I knew that wasn't me. And she said, "Your father was about equal opportunity and equal
Mm.
education. I could play sports just like the boys could play sports." And she was just like, "I knew that that's what I needed for myself. And I knew that's what I needed if I happened to have a daughter." And then here I came. And my father was about that support. Just like he showed up at my brother's games, he showed up at my games. And my whole athletic career, from second grade through 12th grade, I know my father missed one game,
Oh wow, that's
and he
beautiful.
only missed the game because he was on his way and somebody's dog got hit by a car and he had to do emergency surgery on
Mm.
animal. So I want to shout out D Law, said my mother Joyce and grandma my grandma's name was Fanny too. Let me find out. Very powerful women who have much influence on my life. Shout out to them. Uh, Demetrius, any final words that you want to say before I go to Brother Emoji, and then I'll take the mic back. Anything else that you want to say this evening?
Yeah, I just want to, thank you and Ed and Dion for having me on. You guys have been in my life for a while now, and I appreciate the love that you've shown me. I, my sisters, I don't know what I would do without them. Equally,
Mhm.
my brothers, my nieces, some of them a year or two younger than I am because I'm all the way down the line. So they're practically my
Mhm.
sisters as well. These people are very important to me. They all come at me with different lens,
Mhm.
so I take what works from each one of them to help me grow and to help me heal.
Mhm.
Um, People like Samantha and Bobette,
Mm.
Yasmin. I'm surrounded, even in my own team, my production team, they're all women with one guy.
Mhm.
So it's like
Mhm.
I surround myself with people who can keep me in check,
Mhm.
who can help me grow emotionally, and because a lot of us believe in that physical strength, But once I have that mental and that emotional strength, I think that's the most powerful thing I can have. Um, and I'm surrounded by people who nurture that or who helps me with that. So for that, I'm
Yeah.
thanking everyone, and I'm hoping to see quite a few people on the 15th.
Yes.
Let's talk drama
That's
and do the drama afterwards.
and then we'll move into some healing.
That's what
Yeah,
I was going to say.
the,
Yes, that
you
healing piece.
guys,
Yes.
you guys do the drama.
Yes.
I'll do the drama.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's it like
That's
that.
the plan. That's the plan. It's
That's
a short film, so that's the plan. Yes.
Mojo, what you had to say?
No, I just tell people, let's come out. We have an opportunity here to do something very powerful, and very unique within our community. We're doing what the second principle Kuchi Chakalia is talking about. We're doing it for ourselves, not waiting for someone else to do it for us. And this is an opportunity for us to come out, support each other, meet each other, learn from each other, grow with each other. And I look forward to the 15th. I mean, I was blessed to have my grandmother rear me when I was until I was like 7 years old. And she poured a lot into me. So as I'm looking at what we're doing here right now, we're pouring into the community. We're changing what we don't like, and we're making what we have better. And it starts with us to make a difference. That's what I got. It's going to start with us. We can't complain and not do something about it. Let's do something. I complain, but I do something about it.
Exactly.
I didn't like what I saw, so I started with my company, and I'm doing what I'm doing with it now. And I enjoy that. Thank God for the power of the opportunity to work with the people globally I work with. A lot of women overseas I have never met are supporting what I'm doing. And I thank them. I thank my wife for supporting me. It's really important that we understand the power of the women. They are life givers, and I think women need to understand that they are life givers. There's no human being on this planet who did not come from a woman. You think about that. There's no human being on this planet who did not come from a woman. And so as we look at this, we have to be very careful how we perceive our community, because if we disrespect our community, if we disrespect our women, we're disrespecting our community. And what does that say about us? That's all I gotta say.
All right, drop the mic, Brother Mojo. All right, so here are some kind of commercial announcements. Let me say this. We did this show tonight, one, because it's the first Thursday of every night, and we always have our Sisters for Harmony Vodcast this night. But also, we want to take a moment and highlight that it is Women's History Month, and that on Saturday, March 8th, it is International Women's History Day. And so the color for Women's History Month is purple. And it's the colors for International Women's History Day are purple to signify justice and dignity, green to symbolize hope, and white to represent purity. The theme for Women's History Month this year is moving forward together, women educating and inspiring generations. The theme focuses on recognizing women who have dedicated their lives to education, mentorship, and leadership across the generations. So when I look at Dion, I'm so thankful she's here. When I think about myself, when I think about all these women in the chat room, those who were unable to join us tonight, Dr. Natasha Ramantal, Ruby Burke, Edna Warren, and those people, Dr. Wade is listing a crew of women who have done exactly that. The theme for International Women's Day this year is Accelerate Action. Accelerate Action is a worldwide call to acknowledge strategies, resources, and activities that positively impact women's advancement and to support and elevate their implementation. So, this is what Sisters for Harmony is all about. I've dropped the link in the chat so that you can learn more about Sisters for Harmony for those who do not know. And I'm also dropping the link in the chat if you would like to make a donation. There is drop down where you can choose where you want your donation to, and understand that we are people and an organization that moves in and with integrity. So if you tell us you want this money to go towards wellness events like we're doing next Saturday, that's where your money will go towards. If you decide you want it to go towards our web series Kadaga, which is about eliminating human trafficking in all its forms. And we have a global cast. We work with 6 countries, 6 to 8 countries in Africa, 4 countries in the Caribbean, and 11 states within the United States. So we are living our mission every single day. We're constantly talking about what programming is needed for the global community. And if that's something that you're interested in and or supporting, we ask take a moment and support us. And we thank you for your time and your attention. We hope to see you all next week. We thank you for joining us, and happy Women's History Month. All right, until we meet again, we got to let Demedrius go to sleep so he can dream about more drama, so he can create more drama.
Feels good.
All right. Thank you so much for having me, guys.
You're welcome. Good night, everyone. God bless.
Good night, everybody.
Bye-bye.
I will reach out tomorrow.
Okay, sounds good.
All right.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.